This is Orsina Smith, the conductor of the Philharmonic Orchestra of Indianapolis, and I'm so pleased to talk with you about what the Philharmonic means to this community and to itself and to me and to everybody that gets a chance to come in contact with it. Our mission is adult education, bringing great music through the lives of these people who volunteer to bring this music to our public. We hope that you understand how powerful this message can be with a wide array of performances that we have, including the gospel concert that we perform in February, where we sell out the house at the Pike Performing Arts Center.
Years ago, the first oboist of the orchestra, Joseph Kavanaugh, came to me and said, I think we should have some more diversity in the orchestra. We thought about it and took a year before we were able to really realize the particular thing that we wanted to do was have a choir. I collected a friend that had been a student of mine at Butler, Reginald Walters, and we talked about the possibility of playing music that was written for the chorus, that is the big expression of black music, that is gospel, which was in a way their highest sort of form of music, and as the symphony is kind of the highest form of white chorus.
In 1998, we had an all-orchestral program that included the Lincoln Portrait and William Dawson's fantastic African folk symphony. And Maestro Wiley was kind enough to be my mentor, my coach, and have me guest conduct. This is one of the most eclectic programs we've ever done. It always is by nature because of the fact that we have gospel mixed with orchestra, just the idea of European-based symphony orchestra and African-American-based choral, which is call response by nature. That's the reason when we get to songs like I Can Go to God in Prayer and things like that, we have all these calling back and forth between a person that's improvising, vocal solo, kind of quasi-jazz, ragtime, 1920s all the way up to 2013. An incredible mix of gospel and jazz and classical music.
Along the way, we were introduced to Para Lee Gale, and she has been working closely with Reginald Walters ever since, in all the years since. For a while, they were both directing everything. Then it's sort of become that the Reginald directs the unaccompanied spirituals and conducts the orchestra in a good deal of it, and has kind of charge of the program along with Para Lee. And it's been a wonderful combination to work with those two people.
The Indianapolis Symphonic Praise Choir came together as volunteer singers from all over the community. You didn't have to really audition, but we auditioned for voice parts, put your soprano, alto, tenor, or bass. But the choir itself is just a community effort from all faiths, all walks of life, from all ethnic backgrounds. We love that we're just a huge melting pot of wonderful singers. It's a wonderful experience. It's a lot of work, and the choir members all help one another. It's exciting to come because it's a joyous time. Nobody comes angry most of the time. Most of the time everybody comes happy and ready to work and ready to dance, ready to sing, and just ready to lift up in praise. together during the summer months. Reggie, Maestro Wiley, and I, we just look at different genres that are in the sacred music area. I don't want to say gospel because sometimes that pushes something out of the list, because we would include sacred music by Handel or sacred music by Mozart, along with gospel music by Kirk Franklin. So we're looking for just variety of music. We sit and we listen. We look for things that are exciting, things that are familiar, things that might be more classical. We also look for things that we can find that's already been orchestrated, because it's a little costly to orchestrate some of the newer songs.
So hi, I'm Charles Latshaw. I am one of the guest conductors for this year's annual gospel show with the Philharmonic of Indianapolis. There are actually 4 of us involved in this program. Myself, Reginald Walters, Para Lee Gale, and Robert Townsend are all guest conducting in various different ways to put together this amazing program that brings in the Symphonic Praise Choir of Indianapolis, that brings together the volume dancers from Carmel. It's an amazing program that brings people together and gets the orchestra to play music that is not in an orchestra's usual bag of tricks. And it gets the Symphonic Praise Choir an opportunity to play with a major orchestra and with a large ensemble. And it's really, really a good time. When you bring groups together like this, it's amazing to discover how differently groups rehearse on a regular basis. The orchestras have this very regimented idea that we come in, we sit down, there's a hierarchy of important people, and it's very quiet in rehearsal. Choirs work very differently. It's very social. There's always some shoulder rubbing and hand holding, and choirs tend to be more collaborative and communicative in the way they rehearse. Dancers, it's sometimes for an orchestra musician completely impossible to figure out how dancers ever rehearse anything, because they seem to just sort of wander around and say, I think we do this, and then we do that, and then they come together. So when we do a program like this, it's an amazing experience for all 3 of these types of ensembles to experience each other and to sort of gain what's best from each.
We usually rehearse about a month and a half, maybe not quite that long, maybe a month and 1 week. And as we prepare as the choir, and then we only have 2 actual rehearsals where we combine with the orchestra. So sometimes we get a little nervous because we don't know if we're quite ready, but usually when we come together on that very first night, it really comes together well. So we're preparing. Reggie is in rehearsal also with the orchestra. Sometimes I've been there with the orchestra before we put the choir together, so we know how we're sounding. We know about the phrasing. We're practicing rehearsal numbers. So then when we come together, it is familiar. But the exciting part is when we come together. We love that.